Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, every major platform, iHeartRadio, Tiki Live, Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify, and then I'm going to repeat myself and I forget all of them, but this is a show about hope and happiness. So the more platforms, the better. The more I can convince you to be happy 88% of the time, the better. So you can have the best day ever. So I get to highlight some things that have happened this week that bring out what's right with people, what's good with people. So I'm going to share with you some videos that I got on location. In particular, I got to go to the opening in Torrance of the ICan Center. And here's one of the founders with a little bit about what it is, followed by one of the sound bites that I got from a client as well as one of the city leadership. So enjoy.
Good morning. This is Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and I'm here on location celebrating the grand opening of a very important organization. And I have one of the co-owners here. Who are you and what are you doing here?
I'm Louise Elliott, and I'm the business administrator for ICan.
And what does ICan stand for?
ICan stands for California Abilities Network, and we are a nonprofit that serves adults with developmental disabilities.
Bless you for what you're doing, and I saw all the excitement, and you had a band opening with you too, and lots of dignitaries. So was this a dream of yours with your husband?
Yes, it was. We started volunteering at camp when we were in high school and about 16 years old, and we've stuck to it and wanted to just do more with our clients, and this is where it's led us.
That's so beautiful. And did you watch Crip Camp? That was very very influential.
Yeah, it was a good awareness to get out to the public of the ADA and how important it is to this population.
Yes. Do you know who Jessica Cox is? First armless pilot. She's actually a friend of mine. We went on speaking tour, and so she's going to be so proud of me for covering this story. So what does the community need to know, especially in Torrance where you're at, and in Long Beach? I'm actually in Long Beach. About hiring people with special abilities?
They are part of the community, and they are an asset to the community, and we should not be looking at them any differently. They should be included like all the rest of us, and so that's what our goal is, to get out to the community and to employers. Hire our clients. They are awesome, and they are very good workers.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much for the soundbite. And at the end of every show, I do this. So you ready? Peace in.
Okay, peace in.
Peace out.
Peace out.
World peace.
World peace.
Through inner peace.
Through inner peace.
Thank you so much. Dr. Marissa reporting live. Thanks to my special camera woman, who is actually the daughter of the couple that did this. And are you proud of your mom? What's your name, sweetheart?
Kaylee.
Kaylee. And what do you think of all of this that your parents are involved in?
I'm very proud of them.
Aw, and how old are you?
13.
13. Do you help with the center as well?
Yeah.
What have you learned from people with special abilities? What have you learned about them, working with them?
Sometimes it can be challenging, but you just gotta treat them just like you would treat your best friend.
Oh, beautiful. You want to do the peace in, peace out too? You remember it? Peace in, peace out, world peace, through inner peace. All right. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live from the first time opening headquarters of ICan, and I have one of the ICan clients here. Who, spell your name, who are you and what are you doing here?
Tristan, I graduated from transition. I forgot what day, but Friday I graduated, I think, right?
Congratulations.
Yep.
And what does this center mean to you?
I like it.
Yeah?
I go on Zoom. I know Coach Ralph and all the coaches I'm really going to love.
Yeah. And what do they help you do?
Help me get a job.
And why do you want a job?
So I could be a police officer of Torrance and serve the community.
Beautiful. You want to serve? Why? Does it make it? Okay.
So I can help people who are in trouble.
How old are you? Or how young are you?
22 years old.
Awesome. Well, what's your wish for the world?
My wish for the world is stay in ICan, get a job.
Beautiful. I am so proud of meeting you. I'm glad to have met you. I'm glad that this is opening. This is a fabulous place to help you, support you in whatever you want to do. And I hope you make the police officer. And I know that you can do anything that your heart desires.
I do want to be the SWAT.
Perfect. Well, I do this at the end of every show. Do you want to do it with me? Peace in.
Peace out.
Peace out. World peace through inner peace.
World peace.
Through inner peace. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. You know me as the Asian Oprah. I'm here at the ICan opening with a council member. So please introduce yourself and tell me why you're here.
Hi, my name is George Chen, Torrance City Councilman. I'm here to celebrate the opening of ICan here in Torrance. I'm very glad that ICan was able to obtain this property and establish our new home here. I'm very glad all the help ICan does to all the community, not just Torrance, but all the neighborhood South Bay.
Beautiful. And what does ICan stand for?
California Abilities Network. And this is really to help those who need special help, just to make sure that they can function as part of the community here.
Yeah. And how can the community help those who have special needs?
I think one thing is come here and understand what are the needs and what help. And everybody has different special skills, special talents, and come and see how you can contribute, whether you could donate some time here, donate some funds here. Just be involved and understand and share your love in any way you can.
Beautiful. And what's it like being in leadership in Torrance during the pandemic?
Actually, it's not too bad being leadership in Torrance, because the Torrance stayed open throughout the pandemic, despite all the health, regulations. We actually did our best we can to keep the businesses alive and help subsidies, have the outdoor dining. We actually survived it, and now we just want to make sure the community get back safe and healthy and get the economy back.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
And wasn't that great? Because it is true. I don't know if you watched the Netflix special, Crip Camp. I thought that was very well done in understanding. I had no idea how difficult it was to help people get their rights that they deserve when they're disabled. So if you haven't watched that, it's a good one to watch. And if you want to support this group, please go to ICan.org. There's plenty of things you can volunteer if you're local to Southern California. If not, you can always donate, but it's a great cause. And we'll be right back with more of Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. I'll be right back. And welcome back. You are tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And it's Monday. Yep, it's that time again. And it's going to be a great day if you choose it to be. And it is question of the day time. And I actually had this question sent into me. And for those of you who follow me or know my friends, you may recognize who this is, and they did not want to be identified. So they sent it in instead of coming on camera. So do not try to figure out who it is, because the names have been changed to protect the guilty. But just in case you are going through the same thing, or you have friends who are going through the same thing, our theme this week is self-care. And so here's the question. Dear Dr. Marissa, I have been told by my doctors to lower my stress. I want to take care of myself better. I want to heal from my stress-related illness, but I just keep feeling like I can't stop and rest. What do I do? Signed, Hamster Wheel. So, dear Hamster Wheel, actually, this could be a question from a number of my friends, because I do have people like me. I call them recovering high achievers who take on more than they can chew. They know better. They know they shouldn't. They know they already have way too much on their plate. They know better. But they just keep saying yes. They just keep on that hamster wheel, or multiple hamster wheels, jumping from one to the next, because there's so much to get done. There's always so much to get done. So what can we do about that? So if I'm preaching to the choir right now, and you recognize this as something that you have, that you take care of everybody else, but the last person you take care of is you, and you're tired and you're exhausted, and every time you go take a vacation, you're exhausted before you even start back, because you're thinking about all the things that haven't been done, or things that weren't done because you were on vacation. I used to tease my clients. I have clients who are such planners too, who, when they're at their vacation, they're planning their next vacation instead of actually enjoying where they are. So there's plenty of tools that you can use. I'm sure you've heard of mindfulness as a way of life, or as a way to anchor yourself into the present moment, which is like a gift. That's why it's called the present. But I'm going to speak to people who just, I call it going to the tractor for milk. So it's another way of saying going to the hardware store for bread, or, your definition of insanity, right? You lost your keys, you can't find your keys, you go look at them in your pocket and they're not there, and then you turn around, you look everywhere else, and you come back like nobody's touched your jacket, but you go back into that pocket thinking that the keys will somehow magically be there. So that's insanity. And doing the same thing, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. So what's going to break that pattern? What's going to break your cycle of continuing to either overcommit or try to control things that are uncontrollable, and getting incredibly tired in the process? So, are you ready? Here's the solution. 2 words. Stop it! Which is way easier said than done. So here are some tools that I use to help my life balance coaching clients who are, they're not A personality A types, they're A plus types. They're not overachievers, they're overachievers on steroid. So the first thing is always take the breath. And it sounds so simple, but a lot of the times overachievers continue to do what they're doing is because they are in unawareness that they're even doing it. They're just going from one thing to the other thing, and the other thing, and then the phone rings, and then someone asks a question, and then it's like, is it Christmas already? Because you're just constantly in that place where you're not grounded. You're off the floor. You're like bobbing in the ocean of circumstance and conditions, and you don't have the ability just to stop. So I use the anchoring breath. And so a lot of you who have been in my classes or have worked with me know that we always start with the breath. So if you don't know how to breathe, which you all know how to breathe, but I want you to learn how to consciously breathe, because most overachievers don't know how to breathe. They breathe shallow breaths. And guess what? That's their kind of pace. They're running here, there. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, and you end up in do. So I want you to take that breath in a conscious in through the nose. Fill the diaphragm, fill everything, push your tummy out, hold the breath, and then release it through the mouth. Relax your mouth. Don't purse your lips and go blowing, but relax your mouth and force the air out all the way. Kind of scrunch your tummy in to get all the breath out. And then in again. This time when you release, soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. So relax your body in the breath. In the exhale, another deep breath in and release. And this time, releasing all the stories and the drama. And last deep breath in, connecting with me through Chi eternal energy, the breath of life that connects us all, and release. So that took 20 seconds. And when you do that, you are breaking that cycle of frenzy. So frenzy is not your friend. When you feel yourself frenzied, you are overwhelmed and you are not making good decisions. All right. So that's one tool. So anytime you're feeling like you are, hanging on by the toenails, or you are, out of control, you're going to fall, just stop, pull over your car. This helps a lot with anxiety attacks as well, panic attacks. It's that breath, because when it's more than just breath. The breath is connecting you with something bigger. It's like a life jacket or a life raft to a friendly universe. That's what the breath is. It's connecting you to an energy that creates the worlds. Got it? So that's the connection. So when you're breathing like that and consciously taking those 3 breaths, then you're connected. You're connected to something that's always working for you, never working against you. So that's number 1. The other one is you have to learn how to say no. And I know that you don't want to say no. So some people who don't want to say no because they have a very active people pleaser and they want to make everybody happy. And they think that by making everybody happy, they're going to be happy. And if that's you, you need to go probably to a 12-step program called Codependence Anonymous, or read the book Codependent No More by one of my friends and past guest, Melody Beattie. Or if it's in relationships that you're doing, that woman who loved too much. So there's always more to be done. There's always more people to please, and you're never going to get it all done. So if you're going down that path, you might want to just practice saying no, and practice being comfortable with saying no. This is not a light switch. It's going to take a little time, 21 days to create a good habit. So if you cannot say no and act on your own behalf and take care of yourself, then I'm going to make you say no to every 8th request. So that's how we start. It's not that big of a deal. If you get 8 requests a day, then the 8th one you say no matter what it is. Now you are kind of playing some some people pleaser roulette, because if the eighth thing that somebody wants is life threatening, you might be in trouble. But you get the point. You can't skip. You can skip once if it's that life threatening, but the chances will be 2 are very unlikely. So every eighth thing, you say no, I'm sorry, and you don't go, no, I don't want to do that. You just say, thank you, but Dr. Marissa has put me on this regimen that I have to say no every eighth, and you are the eighth request. I'm very sorry. All right? You can blame it on me. And then the following week or the following day, if you're an overachiever, is 7, 6, 5, 4, until you get to every other one. And then you're going to create some time for yourself. So those are 2 tools that I hope will help you begin to learn self-care. Learn. It's a habit. It doesn't come automatically, especially if you're taught to take care of other people when you're young. So self-care is a learned behavior. So hopefully those tools will help you. All right. That is it for the question of the day. If you have a question for me that you'd like to have some free advice for, I do life balance coaching. If you want to, don't want to be on the air and want some private, please go to my website, drmarissa.life, and book some time with me, and happy to help you with that. But if you want to try it on the show where it's free in 12 minutes and help you with one area of life that's going to help you be happy 88% of the time, then please do that. All right, drmarissa.life. And we're going to be right back, and we're going to hear from a wonderful octogenarian who just turned 86, who's going to tell you how he became the inventor of the electric magnet, how he became the inventor of something you all have, a credit card with a magnetic strip, and so much more. Ron Klein. He just turned 86, so we're going to honor his birthday with his interview. All right, we'll be right back. You are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back with Dr. Marissa. And we're back. You are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I thought it would be delightful to celebrate a friend of mine who was a past guest. He just turned 86, and you all know him, even though you think you don't know him. His name is Ron Klein, and he is the inventor of the magnetic strip on the back of your credit card, amongst other great inventions. So I thought I would bring you a snippet of his interview so you can enjoy him as much as I do.
The first invention I really came up with to make money was when I worked for a major company developing low and frequency electrical systems. And then after I went on my own, then I got into the credit card, and et cetera, et cetera. So they were the things that actually generated revenue for me and gave me the ability to understand customer relationship, not just the technical aspect of working with technical people and being technical myself, but working with people that had requirements, consumers, and people like that. And I had the great appreciation for, let's solve the problem first before we make widgets and gadgets.
Right. So that's where your problem solving eye. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who I get to talk to today, it is Ron Klein, also known as the grandfather of possibilities. And do we have that YouTube from the Huffington Post? I was hoping we would get to see that one, but we'll have that queued up. because it does talk about the credit card and how you did that, which I think is really super fascinating. But I also want to ask you, so if there's people who have bright ideas, so I think the MLS listing, when I first saw that you had done that, I remember in college saying to myself, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put into some box that said, I want a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and instead of having to look at all of the different, ads in the paper that said, what was available, that it would just like sort through. And I had that idea, and it wasn't in existence. But I didn't do anything with it. And I know I'm talking to the, I should have, but it probably had already existed. I just didn't see it or was in the making. But for people who have these bright ideas and they think, wow, what do you tell them to do? Like, what's your advice on how to take that product, or not product, but an idea into something that actually might be successful?
Well, I have two main philosophies that are very general, and then we can specifically get into that.
Okay.
First of all, I say that you have to reduce everything to simplicity. You have to say, what's the given that I'm working with for a solution, and what is the goal that I'm looking for, and everything else in between is really the minutiae. It's the journey.
Okay.
So you don't want to start in the middle. You want to establish, what am I working with? What do we have? And what's the goal I'm seeking?
Right.
And then I summarize it by saying you've got to be three things, and I'll do it with my hands.
Okay.
You've got to be smart, daring, and different. And when I say smart, I don't mean a PhD from Harvard University or something like that. I'm saying be aware, learn something new every day, listen to and just know what's going on in the world around you. And then to be daring, don't be afraid of mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, really not learning anything, and I say in a simple way, if you painted something wrong the first time, and you painted it the wrong color, paint it a different color. There's only just keep painting it until you're satisfied. And then the most important thing in success is to be different. Don't try and sell ideas, sell benefits. So to answer your question, something has to be novel. It has to solve a problem and a challenge, and it has to provide a benefit.
Beautiful.
What are the things you look at first? If it provides a benefit, and if it's novel, and it's an improvement, it's worth pursuing.
Fabulous.
Very, very inquisitive kid, very inventive, coming up with all my own toys. By the time I turned 18, the Korean War was on, I was drafted, and after I came back from the service, people were making what they called charge purchases. They would come in with their credit card, which had an embossed number on it, and the merchant would have to look up that credit card number on a long list of negative account numbers that they were given every month by the credit card companies. Right around that time, reel-to-reel tape recorders came out, and I figured, I've got a great idea. If I could take a piece of tape and record the account number on that piece of tape, paste it on the back of the piece of plastic, and build a device that mimics a tape recorder, so that if I inserted the card and pulled it out rapidly, it could possibly work, and it did. And that was the invention of the magnetic tape on the back of the credit card. I was delighted when I saw all the problems it solved amongst all the department stores in which we installed it. Never made tons of money off the patent, but I made tons of money when I came up with lots more ideas and inventions with the development of the nutrition system to raise chickens in an 8-week period, the development of MLS, the multiple listing service for the real estate industry, the development of voice response for the banking industry, which eventually took me into the New York Stock Exchange, and I was there for over a quarter of a century developing things for the exchange. My nickname and what I'm known for is I'm the grandfather of possibilities, and that's me. If I had my life to live over again, I would want it to be exactly the same way. A good friend of mine always said, Ron, make sure you live life to the fullest, and when you go, make sure you go empty. The life of credit cards may be coming to an end at some point because we live in a world of obsolescence. However, we've had great longevity on the magnetic strip of the credit card. I don't say weird, but I am different. I'm a free thinker, and I just do my thing, and I don't worry about what people think. That's my plight in life.
I love that clip. So when you're listening to it, what are you thinking when you see that?
I'm a rebel.
Yes, you are, and a wonderful rebel at that. You're just, I love the thing, like, don't go empty. I love that. I'm different. I like that. And you don't care what other people think. I think those two are answers to my earlier question too, is how do you continue to do the things that you do, is you really don't give a flying through a rolling donut what people say or think or how they react. You're doing something you love to do.
You know, Dr. Marissa, I'm hoping that little video really gets a message across to your audience because, like I say, I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm not an inspirational speaker, but my stories should be able to inspire people.
Yeah.
And the message that video gives is what I was saying before. What's the given? The given was to make a charge, what they called in those days, a charge purchase, it was very slow. Mm-hmm. And also, what the solution was, we wanted to speed things up. So they had to look through all those numbers in a book that the credit card companies gave every month.
Yeah.
That was easy to solve that.
Yeah.
Just take all that stuff and put it into some kind of memory system.
Right.
And then the other problem was the burden of proof and the burden of credit to be awarded was on the wrong person. It was on the merchant. It should have been on the credit card company. So I said, okay, well, what can we give the merchant? Well, the interim was I gave the merchant a little keypad and I put all the stuff in memory and he would key in the account. And if it didn't come up in memory, the person was good to go. So that was the first point of sale. How simple that was. Mm-hmm. But then I said, wait, the burden is still on the merchant because he has to key the
numbers in.
And that's when the reel-to-reel tape recorders came out. And I said, well, geez, let me just take a little piece of that phenomena, the tape, put it on the credit card, and then the magic was make you the motor.
Right. So on that,
you were there, you would have solved it the same way.
No, you give me way too much credit. You are different. You have a mind that sees possibilities, and that's why you're the grandfather of possibilities. But speaking of the credit card,
there's a gift behind every challenge.
Yes.
If you take problems and convert, problems are frustrations.
Yeah.
But if you take that problem and turn it into a challenge, there's an opportunity or a gift behind every challenge.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. You're preaching to the choir on that one. But let's talk about the chip, because the chip looks like it is making the strip obsolete. However, I was in the audience when you were talking about this, and I haven't heard you say it. And by the way, I don't want you to argue with me. I want you to listen to me for 1 second. I'm sorry. You are a motivational speaker. You are an inspirational speaker, and I am not going to argue with you because I am always right, except when I'm not. And so whether you like it or not, that's what you do. You motivate people when you talk. That's what a motivational speaker is. So anyways, we're moving on.
Okay.
So what's right and wrong with the chip? Why is the chip not necessarily going to make the strip obsolete?
Well, I'm not going to throw it under the bus, and I'm not going to speak terribly negative. I'm not a fan of the chip, and I'll just tell you why.
Yes.
Briefly.
Yes.
The chip does some very, very sophisticated algorithms in changing the PIN number, does some wonderful things.
Yes.
However, the reason the magnetic strip survived all these years, I patented it in 1966, is because it does not require energy. something that does not require energy, does not radiate. Said, chip is a mini computer. It has no power on it while it's sitting in your pocket or in your purse. However, when you take that chip and you slide it into the new machine that had to be designed to receive, the machine energizes that chip so it has intelligence. What happens when you energize a little chip? It becomes a transmitter. What happens to people who are standing in line behind you that are not credible people and have a little scanner in their pocket, and they scan that little transmitter and compromise your information? Do I have to say any more?
Yes. And I know you don't want to say anything bad, but is that one of the reasons why fraud has gone up in credit cards? Would you say
there was never fraudulent transactions at the point of sale with the magnetic strip? It was always the middle or at the store. Now things can be compromised if you don't carry that card with a chip in it in a shielded envelope in your wallet or purse. I could come up behind you with a scanner, scan your wallet or purse, and steal your information.
even if it's in a wallet with a bunch of other credit cards?
That's right, because I can energize it with a scanner.
And even if you haven't brought it out to put it in like just walking anywhere? Oh dear. Okay. So because I thought all those advertisements for those sleeves and the wallets and the protector, I really thought it was gimmicky, but you're telling me it's not. So
well, the safest way and the cheapest way to really protect it is go home and wrap it up in a piece of tinfoil. And then put it back in your wallet, and it's safe.
It's safe. Is that safer than the sleeve?
Same
thing. Okay, so you don't have to get the sleeve. So I have to take my whole wallet and wrap this whole thing in foil. Is that okay?
No, just take the card and wrap it up.
But if I do this whole thing, and because I have like more than one card in here, so if I'm like looking around now, is anybody scanning? Ryan, do you have a scanner? You have a scanner. So seriously, if I just put foil over this whole thing, it'll protect it?
Dr. Marissa, let's say this. That's only my opinion.
Okay. But still, but I'm
not
just
throwing
saying
it under the bus.
Okay. All right. Next question. So,
Yes.
any bumps in the road?
Oh.
Did you have? Okay, several.
Not bumps, collisions.
So tell me what actually they were to your motto. They weren't mistakes. They were learning, right?
Oh no, I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned from those mistakes. But I did some stupid things.
Okay, like?
Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit of the story, and then stop me if we get close to a big.
Okay.
Because I've been known as a problem solver, and I was doing real well, then people came to me to solve the problem of multiple listing. That was in 1967.
Yep.
And then voice response for banking. I came up with a great idea of what touch-tone phones came out, and I said, geez, isn't it great if you can take the touch-tone phone, key in your account number to the computer at the bank, and the bank says, okay, I got that information from the touch-tone phone. Let's turn it into voice, and let's send it back as voice information. So that was the voice response. And when I first invented it, it was very crude, so it sounded like a robot. This is a voice, that kind of thing. And then I synthesized it. And then I got into, and the company just kept growing and growing because in those days, software and wasn't really a big advocate of things to make happen. So everything was solved with electronics, parts, mechanical things, transistors and resistors and capacitors. So my company that I had started grew quite rapidly, and it was very large. I had engineers and draftsmen and manufacturing people. I was up to 125 employees, and I needed money. So I took the company through a private offering, raised some capital. Company was continuing to grow and needed more money.
Right.
I finally took the company public on the stock exchange and raised more millions of dollars to really grow rapidly. And then it was so well known that a major insurance company came to me and said, we like what we see. We want to acquire you and buy your company. And I was reaching retirement age then. I was 34 years old, so it was time to retire. I thought, I came from a very wealthy family. My dad was a mailman, and my mom worked in the department store. So
sarcasm is another service you offer. So that the one invention that I really wish you had not invented is the automatic banking response, or any kind of response where you call and you cannot get a live person, and you get a machine that you have to listen in one way or the other. The automatic banking response, or magnetic strips on credit cards and MLS. I do want to say that the one invention that I really wish you had not invented is the automatic banking response, or any kind of response where you call and you cannot get a live person, and you get a machine that you have to listen to all the menu options, which none of them work, and then you hit 0 and it takes you back to the menu, and then you hit another number and it takes you to another place. And by the time I actually talk to someone, I'm so ticked off that I am like, the poor customer service person, it's not their fault. And then I'll say, if you want a little feedback from a user, it's really very annoying to use your system. And every single time they'll say to me, we've heard that before and we're sorry. And so it's created this, if I had $1 million to spare, I would automatically start any kind of a company that promises that when you call, you will get a voice of a person, and they will not switch you until they solve the problem. So I'm lodging a complaint for your invention.
I solved it already.
How?
Well, after I realized that it was very annoying, we decided not to do anything with banks anymore. And Arlene and I went and bought a shovel, and we went out in back of our house and dug a long trench, took all of our money and put it into ginger jars and mason jars and buried it out back. And then we never had to deal with the banks again. Solved the problem.
You didn't solve the problem for me.
You didn't buy the shovel.
No, I didn't, but I think I will. No, I'm teasing. But before we run out of time, I really want to talk about your newest invention, which is so beautiful. So I'll let you explain it.
Okay, I'll tell you real quick on that. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, but we'll just do that, was when I automated the corporate bond market.
Oh, yes.
And that was for the corporate listed bonds. But let me tell you about my new invention.
Yes.
One day, Arlene and I have a very dear friend who was blinded at age 13. And he's a brilliant man. He has a PhD. He had very high positions. And Arlene sat on the board of a major national firm for animals, and he was the chairman of the board at the time. And one morning, I just sat down with him for breakfast, and I said, we were having breakfast together. And I said, Jim, you know what? You're brilliant. You've got ideas, and we both know that we can send people on the moon, and, I've invented things. But what's on your wish list? And he said, Ron, you know what? I wish there was something so simple that it could help me with my daily life of things I come in touch with, my clothing, my spices, my CDs, my prescription medications, and so forth, and just identify it in a simple way without having all this heavy paraphernalia that's available for the blind to decipher what's what. I said, let me think about it. And I went home, and 2 weeks later, I came up with an idea of especially little coded labels using the QR coded labels, but they were specially coded, and an app that you could take that label and paste it on anything you want. Your peanut butter jar, your clothing, your prescriptions in your medicine cabinet, and then point the phone at it and describe what's in that box or what's in that device. And then just anytime you point it, let's say if you open up your medicine chest and you have everything marked with the label, and you just scan your phone down the medicine chest. It will tell you which is your aspirin, which is your heart medication, and so on. And it worked. It worked great. And the labels are reusable. You can re-record. You can say when something's expiring. And the nicest thing is the app is free. And it's called, by the way, you can go to the website. It's called envisioneli.com. It's ENVISION, Eli, because Eli was the blind prophet that read the Bible in Braille.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. So ENVISION, Eli, ELI.com, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And here's what you can do. All of your audience can play around with it.
Yeah.
And then we manufactured little labels, little stick-on labels that could fit in one's pocket, a little 100-label packet that it sells for like $20. And they're reusable. And what blind person wouldn't invest $20 with a free app just so they can identify their clothes?
That is so awesome. So there's my favorite invention right
But
there.
anybody can play around with it, because if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, just go on and say Envision Eli, download the app. The app it looks like a green eye with Braille in it saying ELI.
Okay.
Just download that and then go on the website, envisioneli.com, and and say I want for the visually impaired, and there's a sample label that's programmable.
Right.
And you use that over and over again. Just point the phone at it, follow the instructions.
That's
play
so
with it.
awesome.
If you come up with a good, innovative idea, I'll even help it. Let's say for somebody that wants to move from place point A to B,
right,
and they start shoving a whole bunch of stuff in the box.
Oh,
you put a label in the box and just say, "This is what's in the box." When
That's
you get to
great.
the new location and you got 100 boxes, you point your phone at it and it tells you what's in the box.
That's brilliant. And I am going to be using that because I'm moving next month. So there you go. Awesome. Awesome. And wasn't that brilliant? And he is just as vitality oriented as he was at that interview. He's just celebrated 86 years. So I wanted to honor him with this re-interview. I'm sure I'm going to have him on again with more of what he's doing. But because I love him so much, this is for you. Happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday to you. What an amazing man. What a beneficial presence on the planet Ron is. And his beloved wife, who is the strength behind the strength, Arlene. I'm so blessed to know and call you friends. And this episode is just for you. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.